Well, hello, Questers! I just made that up because, the channel's called Scripture Quest, and you're on the channel watching, so, Questers. Thanks for joining us in another Action Bible video today. We're going to be on page 589. Now, in our story about Jesus, the Pharisees were really starting to not like having Jesus around. In fact, they had decided it was time to try to get rid of this Jesus. And so they tried to come up with a plan to trap Jesus so that the people would not like him no matter how Jesus responded. And so the Pharisees come up with this plan. They knew that there was a lady nearby who was an adulterer. What's an adulterer? Well, an adulterer is when a person is married and instead of being with the person that they're married, they go and act like they're married with somebody else and no longer care about the person that they're married to. Adultery is still a pretty big deal today, but back in Jesus' day, if you were caught being an adulterer, you could be killed. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, this is supposed to be a kids channel and we're talking about people dying? But hold on, wait until you hear the whole story and you'll see why we're talking about this. Now, according to Jewish law, the woman who was caught in adultery could be stoned. And so they bring this woman to Jesus and put her in front of him. They said to Jesus, "This woman has been caught in adultery. The law of Moses says she must be stoned to death. What do you say?" They thought they had trapped him. If Jesus says go ahead and follow the law and put the woman to death, then his followers will turn against him. But if he says let her go, then he'd be breaking Moses' law, which is a really big deal to the Jewish people. Now if you turn to page 590, you'll see a picture of Jesus just squatting on the ground. And he kind of have his finger in the dirt like he's drawing something. We don't know what he drew or what he wrote in this dirt, but that's what he did. For a moment, all was silent. The Pharisees start to get a little impatient, and they said, "What is your answer?" Jesus looked up from his dirt and says, "Whoever of you have not sinned, go ahead and throw the first stone." Jesus had caught them in their own trap. None of the people there could say they've never sinned, so one by one, they dropped their stones, and they walked away from the crowd. During this time, Jesus had squat back down and began to write in the dirt again. When Jesus looked up and saw that there was no one there, he turned to the woman and said, "Woman, who accuses you of your sin?" The woman looked around, didn't see anyone, and says, "Well, no one, I guess." Jesus said, "I don't accuse you either then. Go in peace, but sin no more." Wow, what a powerful message from Jesus. It's a short story, but man, does it have a lot to say. If you have another Bible at home, you should check out Psalm 103. I'm going to be looking at verses 11 through 13. It says, "For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his steadfast love towards those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far does he remove our transgressions from us. As a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear him." Now, why do I bring these verses up? If you look closely back at your Action Bible, why don't you take a look at the girl's face? She looks pretty sad and a little scared. And honestly, she had a good reason to be scared. According to the law, she was about to die. I wonder if she was more afraid of dying or if she was afraid of Jesus. Do you think she had a reason to be afraid of Jesus? Well, actually, yes. Sometimes fear is not always a bad thing. Actually, according to the verses we just read in Psalm 103, the person who fears God is the one who receives his love. Does God want us to be afraid of him? Well, kinda, yeah. In this story, Jesus is the one person who could have condemned the woman. He had the ability right then and there to decide if she lived or not. God does the same thing for us right now. And that kind of makes us be a little bit afraid of him. What great power he has. But what's so cool about Jesus is the fact that he does forgive sin. Verse 12 says, "As far as the east is from the west, so does he remove our transgressions from us." Do you know how far the east is from the west? They never touch. If a person started to go east and a person started to go west, they would never cross paths. And so I think verse 13 there in Psalm 103 is the key. As a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion on those who fear him. Jesus looked on this woman and had compassion for her because she feared and respected Jesus and his decision that he was about to make. And so what does Jesus do? He forgives her. And we have that same opportunity to be forgiven of our sin if we trust in Jesus alone and we fear him. I know those two things may not seem like they go together, to love something and to fear it, but that's exactly how God is. We fear him because he has the power to do whatever he wants, but we love him because he shows compassion towards us and is willing to forgive us of our sins if we trust in him alone. I get so excited talking about Jesus. I think I'm going to sing a song. I've never done this before. Let's try it. How great is his love for me, in him I find victory. My sin's as far as the east from the west, and that's why Jesus is the best. Did you like my song? I think I'm gonna go platinum. I hope that today you'll begin to fear God in a healthy, respectful way that will make you love him more because he continues to show his compassion for us, just like Jesus showed love and compassion to the woman. Now, this whole story does not make the Pharisees happy. And we're going to see in our next video, they try again to get Jesus. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite stories in the Bible. So make sure you tune in next time. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye.